Alt C says it's recording now, 2:07 on the 24th of March in the year 2024. Welcome to the Grit Family Team Meeting. I am Coach Miner. This is going to be a great meeting. You're in the right place if you're watching this live. If you are here, if you're watching this on replay, thank you. Stick around. Could be entertaining. So I'm really excited about this. I know, Coach, missed you yesterday, Coach Bulger, but I appreciate you taking the sacrifice today. Jacob's going to tell us where he's at, what he's up to. But for you that don't know, Coach Bulger just is finishing up his degree at Pacific University in Forest Grove. Go Boxers! He was a two-time All-Northwest Conference performer, 2 times, not once, 2 times. And then this year was coming back for his 5th year and had concussion that lasted a long time. So he was able to play 1 possession, which was a dunk. So he had 2 points in his less than a minute played, which is more than I had. Well, that was ties, I guess, my career. No, I did have 3 in a game in college. So I still have more than your career high this year, or season high this year. So Coach Bulger, tell them where you're at, tell them what you're doing, and what's going on.
We're on a little bit of a grad present. Me and my partner, both seniors this year, graduating. She's a 4th year senior. I'm a 5th year senior. We're in Turks and Caicos right now, which is about an hour outside of Miami. Flight over the water. It's raining here. It's pretty crazy. It's a different world. I've never experienced something this cool before. So that's where I'm at right now. We're going to go to dinner. We're going to go golfing tomorrow. And then I'm going to be back in a week to yell at you guys practice all day.
You better believe he's telling you the truth too. Let's go. That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. That is really cool that you get the opportunity to go do that and experience that new kind of culture. Hopefully it clears up and you get out of the rain, because you are from Portland, so you know a little bit about the rain. So it'd be really nice if it was like tropical, right? That's what we all think of when we think of that. But awesome. Glad you're here. If you do have to sneak out for dinner reservations, we do understand. But thanks for joining us. We also have with us Coach Jonathan Willis from Florida. Moved out here to Oregon to be an assistant college basketball coach at Willamette University, where he was for 4 years, and then took a job at another school in the Northwest Conference, Linfield University, where he was there for 2 years. So while I was at Pacific, don't need to get into that story. He might remind me and you guys that don't know who won when we played them that year. It changed after he left. Yeah, Coach Willis then got the head coaching job at South Puget Sound Community College, which is in beautiful Olympia, Washington. And he was the head coach there for a couple years, and then was an assistant at Western Oregon University, which is an NCAA Division II school in Monmouth, Oregon. And now he is the basketball director at the Multnomah Athletic Club, the MAC Club. If you're not from Portland, you might not realize that's kind of a nice place, I've been there for weddings and receptions, but I'm certainly not a member of the MAC Club. But Coach Willis, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the introduction. Anytime you guys are in the area, you're welcome to come to the MAC. I'll show you around or whatever. It's a really nice place. So I'm excited to be here, excited to see everybody. A little jealous of Turks and Caicos. I must admit, that is quite the place, Coach. That's quite the place. When I grow up, I want to be like Coach B, and go to Turks and Caicos. So, no, I'm excited. I don't have any acronyms for you guys today. Sorry, but I could get one. So, looking forward to a great meeting.
Let's go. All right, let's get going right away. Scavenger hunt. It's going to be harder So this is for players only. Actually, no, I just saw Coach Hellstrom. Coach Hellstrom. Coach Hellstrom. Coach. Coach Hellstrom. Coach Hellstrom, longtime friend, Max Hoops with me, done it. One of the best guys I know, one of my really good friends, and a godly man who looks like church today. I can almost guarantee that's where he was today, because the only reason I've seen him not be the first one there or the last one out of the gym is when he has church. So one of the most, I always have him send some up for me, but Coach, I'm gonna turn this over to you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. So glad to be here. This is a great day. I know that Coach Miner's got some really cool things planned, and whether it's, what'd you say, scavenger hunt? I don't know. Like, I mean, I said something about like maybe favorite hoop memory. So like mine was, I actually hit a half court shot against Carlos Boozer when he was a freshman, when he played at Juneau Douglas High School. That's how like old I am. And that's like maybe my basketball like greatest thing. We were still down 20, but it was my favorite of all time.
Carlos Boozer, if you don't know, ended up at Duke University, national champion, and then in the National Basketball Association for quite a while also, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a great memory. So this is going to be an exciting call. So scavenger hunt. Here's how this is going to work.
Yeah.
You will get, we have 1 point, 2 points. Give me a thumbs up if he sounds like he's talking in a swimming pool. Okay, everybody's got their thumbs up, which means it's not just me. Coach Hellstrom, if you can hear me now, we couldn't hear you. It sounded like you didn't have kind of hear you, but it sounds like you're calling in from your dial-up. Do you have
the right microphone?
I don't know if it's the microphone.
How about that? Is that better?
That sounds better. And you look great. I think you're on.
Who knows? It's definitely user error. My apologies.
Okay. We won't hold that against you. We're going to get to trivia or scavenger hunt. So here's how it works. 1-pointers, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers. The first person that can come back to the camera or have it and put their hand up. So let's practice. Everybody not on the screen, but on the raise hand. So just let's make sure Jacob knows how to do it. You have a tough one, Jacob, out in a hotel room, because some of these are things that are found around the house. But so if you guys can figure out how to put your hand up. Looks like Luke knows how to do it. Jacob did have his up. There we go. The Joneses are good. Corbin's figuring out how to put his hand up and pivot his camera so it's facing the correct way. He is also on vacation. Corbin, can you hear us? If you can hear us, unmute and tell us where you are.
Yeah, I'm in Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Not Yakima, which is known as the Palm Springs of Washington, but actually Palm Springs in the desert.
Yeah.
Great. Are they able to twist their camera there in the desert to where like that way? Yes. There we go. That is better, Corbin. Thank you. I'm glad that still works in California. So everybody's hands down. Okay, first item. First family or individual to come back with this and put their hand up. So that would be everybody's hands down. So we're moving around a little bit. Rue's figuring out how to take the hand down. So is Kellen. There we go. Everybody's hands are down. So here we go. First item. A grit shirt or jersey. Does anybody have a grit shirt or jersey? Rue's off to find his grit jersey. Some of you guys, it's your first time, so we can't hold that against you, but it's going to be harder to get a point. Some of them will be easier than others. Some of them will be more difficult. So let's see if Rue can find his. Megan's got her hand up. Rue is pulling it out right now. Grit jersey. Wow, that's the nice one with the Portland skyline. Okay, Olsen's have a point. There's 15 one-pointers, 5 2-pointers, and then 1 3-pointer. All right, so the Olsens have one. Next item. Any coin that is not a penny, nickel, dime, or quarter. Megan had her hand up, but I forgot to ask it to go down. But is it up? Barb, I see Barb's hand. Coda. Okay, that is a coin. Are those coins? Let's get a vote. Are those coins? They can't be spent, but okay. Both, Jacob, you're the tiebreaker. You're gonna give both of those points. Okay, we'll give you both points, hands down. Olsen's now have 2. Let's see. Coda and Barb have 1. Next item. An NBA basketball card. Any NBA basketball card. First person to get their hand up with a card. First person to find a basketball card in their house will be getting rewarded with points. Or I can't remember how to put my hand. Hellstrom has his hand up. First player or parent trying to figure out how to get the camera up. I saw the Joneses. Joneses first. Joneses first. Joneses. Who do we have? I can't see who it is, but it looks like it's Brandon got one. We'll give you a point too, Coach. Is that Sean Kemp? And then we got
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Oh, he was in a blue uniform. That's why it was tricky. So we will give the 3 of you guys as the Joneses get a point. The Codas get a second point, and Hellstrom will give you a point. What the heck?
Thank you. I got a Shaq one.
Points are cheap. I can give them out. All right, here we go. Next item. Next item. Here we are. A digital video disc. Any DVD. Any DVD. Put your hand up. All right, we have the Olsens and the Olsens. They have Elf. Elf is the winner. Elf is the first person. Hellstrom has his hand up, but the Olsens get a point for having a digital video disc on hand. Hellstrom delayed, 2 delayed. Everybody's hands down. No more points given out on the digital video disc. DVD. Okay. Hellstrom, put your hand down. Doesn't count. I'm not giving you points. I'm not giving you points. That round was over. And if you don't put your hand down, you're going to lose a point. I can take away a point. Okay. He disappeared. There we go. All right. Next. First person with their hands up that can show me a basketball. Olsens get another point. Olsens now have 4 points. 4 points. Hands down. Rue, Megan, doing pretty well. Sorry, everybody, that was a little bit late. I see the basketballs. That was good, but not good enough. Now, Rue, put your hands down. Put your hand down. Unraise your hand. Okay. Next one. A physical picture. Any physical picture, an actual picture. Okay, Barb and Coda have it. Oh, the Hendricks were so close. Rue had one off the wall. Aiden was in, Clayton was in, a little bit delayed, but that one, hands down, that one was Barb and Coda getting their 3rd point. Okay, good job. Hey, 3-pointer still to come. There is a 3-pointer, Aiden. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. You got a 3-pointer coming. Here's the next one. a pair of Kobe Bryant shoes. A pair of Kobe Bryant shoes. Who has a pair of Kobe's that they can come show with the hand up? Shoes have to be ready. Okay, I see the Hendricks. Let's see him. Kobe Bryant. Luke, close second, Luke. Those are sick Kobe's though, with the neon bottoms. But we're gonna give that one to the Hendricks. Well, that do you have two now, Alicia? Or is that your first one? Do you know? I'm just throwing points around and I can't remember if I gave you one or not. That was the first one. Jacob says he's counting. And I had it as the first one too. I just thought I might have forgotten one. Hands down. You know what's great? When I say hands down, Willis's picture pops up over into the top left corner, which is where when people raise their hand, that's where they go. I don't know if you guys, if that's the same on your screen, but when I raise a hand, like if I get to where I raise my hand, I bounce over there. So now I'm over there. And then when I put my hand down, I bounce back over and Coach Willis pops up. It's pretty good, except for when he just looks like, oh. All right, next one. A musical compact disc, a CD, a CD. Who has a CD? Rachel doesn't have any CDs anymore. Who has a CD? Oh, it looks like Alicia, but they got to get their hand up. We'll give it to Alicia. Okay, we'll give the Jones one too. What was the worship music? Probably, right, Alicia? Was it a worship? It was a worship song. Clayton and Alicia on the board, though. On the board. And then I said we would give one to the Joneses also. What was your guys'? Was that a Christmas classics? Or unmute and tell us what that was, Jacob.
A Dean Martin Christmas or something.
Dean Martin, okay.
It's all I had.
All right, there we go. Next one. As soon as Jacob lowers his hand. A can opener. A can opener from the kitchen. Who has it? Who can show it? Rachel, they're all hands are up, but I don't see them yet. I see three. Rue and Megan were a little late. Clayton was in there, but we're gonna go with Hammond, Barb and Coda, and Dean. Barb and Coda, and who is the Dean? Jacob Jones. Okay, 4 for the Olsons, 4 for Barb and Coda, 3 for the Joneses. Hellstrom has 1, Hendricks has 1, Clayton has 1, and the Hammonds have 1. That's where I think we're at. All right, next. Some of you might not have any Beaver gear, but some of you might have anything that's Oregon State Beavers gear. So that can be a shirt, that can be a hat, that can be anything that says Beavers. If you have it, we can get a hand up as soon as I see one go up. Rue and Megan, let's see it. Shorts? They're orange, but do they say Beavers on them? I see a hat there from the Joneses. I don't know. I'm going to give it to the hat because unless you can show me something that says Beavers on that orange Rue, not buying it. Beavers, yep. OSU. Yeah, OS. Can't spell loser without an O and an S. That's for you, Willis. Okay, we'll give Willis a point because Willis didn't have any. And so we give him that one. So Willis gets a point. I know the hat was the Joneses, was that right? All right, while I'm putting that on there, take your hand down. Willis gets a point. Was there it? Okay. I think that was it. So you guys can anticipate what's coming next. Ducks gear. Okay. Aiden, Hammond's got a point. Hammond's got the point. It's over. Anticipation, knowing that I am a Ducks fan, also a Beavers fan, unless they're playing each other. So that one, we'll give the Hammonds a second point for that one. Great effort, though, by the Olsons. Nice try, but second place on that one. And Willis is back in the top left corner. All right. A piece of cheese. A piece of cheese. The first person that can put their hand up and show the piece of cheese. Okay, I see it. I see Barb and Coda. I like that you tried to put the hand up there, Meg, before you had the physical cheese. But Barb and Coda get the first of 5. I see the cheese. Okay. I'm a cheese fan, so I like to see it, but everybody's hands down. Nice effort. That was a great effort, but you can't throw your hand up before you have the item. So we're not going to count that one. But now hands down, and Willis is back in the top left with the cheese in hand now. Let's go. I think that was that string cheese that we saw, Barb, Coda. That was string cheese. Okay, I like string cheese. Mozzarella fan right here. All right, let's see. Back. So it's 5 for Barb and Coda, 4 for the Olsons, 4 for the Joneses. Hellstrom has 1. Hammonds have 2. Hendricks have 1. Clayton and Alicia have 1. Willis has 1. All right, next one. A Max Hoops shirt or jersey. A Max Hoops shirt or jersey. Who can find their Max Hoops shirt or jersey? Coach Willis is running to see what he can find. Rue and Megan are right there. There we go. Aiden Hammond. Hammond's got the shirt. I like to see that it looks like it's been worn. Ooh, that's a nice hoodie. Those are rare, Rue. That's a rare one. There's not many of those out there. The long sleeve, lightweight hoodie Max Hoops. Those are nice. But that t-shirt looks like it's been worn. Ooh, I like that one, Aiden. That's a 2022 model, right? Does it say it on there? I think it should say 2022. Usually I don't put the date on things, but that's like, yeah, I knew that one. That's a San Diego special. That was from San Diego. That's why it's kind of a beachy theme. All right. So that one, did I give the points? That was the Hammonds, I believe, with the nicely worn. I like to see it that it's worn. Max Hoop shirt. So the Hammonds now are up to 3. We're almost done and moving on to the 2-pointers. Pacific University boxers gear. Anything on it that says Pacific University, whether that's a t-shirt, a jersey, a hat. Does anybody have any merch or gear? The Olsons are frantically scavenging the house. They probably do have something. Let's see. Boom. There it is. Look at that. Rue and Megan back tied. That is a full-size t-shirt if anybody was wondering. I know it looked like a small, but that is a big t-shirt. That is a full-size t-shirt, right, Megan? Full size. Hasn't been opened yet, which kind of cool that you keep it in the original packaging, but hard to wear and repackage it in there. So we know that he hasn't been wearing it because it's really small, right? Show that again. Show that Pacific shirt. That is a full-size t-shirt shrunk down. All right, here we go. I think that was the last. That's 5-5. Jones have 4. Now we're going on to 2-pointers. 2-pointers. A cassette tape or a VHS tape? A cassette tape or a VHS tape? Does anybody have those in the house still? You could get 2 points for this one. 2 points. Coach Lunt looks like he's got a thumbs up instead of a hand up, but we'll count it if you can figure out where. Is that original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Wow, that's worth 2 points for the Olsons. Clayton's got a cassette tape. That's a cassette tape, right? We'll give you guys 2 points there also. So now you have 3 points. This next one, anybody that has it will get the 2 points. Everybody's hands are down because I see Willis back in the top left corner. All right. A $2 bill. Does anybody have a $2 bill? $2 bill. Okay, Aiden gets a point. Turn it up so it's upside down. Let's see it. That's a nice one. Okay. Jacob's got some Canadian currency, it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna give Barb and Coda 2, which gives them 7. Rachel and Aiden get 2, which brings it into 5. The Hendricks got, woo, he's got multiple, and those are crisp. We're gonna give you 3 for that, Hendricks. We're gonna give you a 3-pointer. It was an and 1, multiple, and Barb has, oh, she's just dropping bills, just making it rain out here with $2 bills. Okay, so we'll give the Hendricks get a back to 5. Barb and Coda are at 8. All right, hands down. Looking for Willis. Oh, there he is, but he's on the wrong side. Now he's back. Okay, here we go. Next 2-pointer. Anybody that can bring a Dr. Seuss book. Some of you are on vacation. I know it's more difficult, but we will give you 1 minute to bring back a Dr. Seuss book. So we have 3 people at least that know they have them. So let's see what we got. Barb and Coda get 2. So they're at 10 with the Cat in the Hat comes back. Oh, the places you'll go. The Olsons get 2 for that. That is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss ones. Great. John Willis has this. Coach Willis, we're giving you and 1 because it's a musical book. So Willis now has 4 points. Musical book. The Longs, have you guys been playing? Are you guys in this thing, Longs? The Longs are on the board. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Give them 2 points. Oh, the places you'll go for Clayton and Alicia. Nicely done. Up to 5. And the Hammonds, which one did you have there, Aiden? Oh, Beyond Bugs and All the Insects. Not one that I've heard. The Palm Springs Live reads almost like a Dr. Seuss novel. Okay, hands down. So what was the last, who's the last one? I'm not, Corbin, I know you're at a disadvantage, so we'll give you 2 points. We'll give you disadvantage points. That's like a technical foul on somebody else. You get to take the 2 charity shots. Charity shots, also known as free throws, if you guys hadn't heard that phrase. I think I missed somebody on that one, the Dr. Seuss. So I'm gonna read out the points. So in first, currently, Coda and Barb have 10. The Olsons have 9. The Hammonds have 7. Clayton and Alicia have 5. The Hendricks have 5. The Joneses have 4. Willis has 4. Long has 2. Corbin has 2. Hellstrom has 1. Lunt has 2. Okay, here we go. 2 more 2-pointers, I believe. A marble. A marble. Who has a marble? We will take all the people that can find a marble to give them 2 points. So if you have a marble, we will give you 2 points. So you can rush, but Rue and Megan take the lead unless Coda and Barb can pull out a 2. Barb and Coda, that is a bam, bam, a big marble.
It's a giant marble, but it's a marble.
That is a massive, gargantuous marble. Okay, Rue and Megan got their point. Hands down. All right, so there's 2 marbles, 2 marble collectors. All right. Okay, here we go. Last one. Well, actually, this won't be everybody. Everybody won't get this one. It'll be the first person that can show me a AAA battery. A AAA battery. First person to have it and raise their hand and show a AAA battery. I have to have it. Hammond's hands are up and I see the battery. Therefore, the Hammonds get the 2 points. 2 points. Right back in it. 2 points. I see the batteries there. That was a great effort by Clayton and Alicia. However, it was a little bit late. It was a little bit late after the whistle. No continuation. No continuation on this one. Okay. That was the 2-pointer. So let's see who's got a shot at this. The Olsons tabbing in at 11. Barb and Coda at 12. So this is, then we have the Hammonds at 9. Rachel, Aiden, you guys have 9, which means a 3 could tie it. You could have a tie at the buzzer. All right. Otherwise, it looks like everybody else is out of the running for the 3-point question, which I wrote and then deleted on accident, sending it in the group chat, and I forgot to send it. So we're gonna have, is Coach Willis still available to come up with the 3-point? Because I've been kind of running the game, but Coach Willis maybe had to get a drink or something. So we're going to give him a second because I want him to come up with the tiebreaker. So Coach Willis, if you can hear us, you're the one that's coming up with the tie-breaking. And then we're going to give Coach Lunt a chance to say something, and then we're going to move on to the final part of the call. But we're going to stall a little bit while Coach Willis is thinking or finishing whatever he's working on. So we'll give you a second, Coach Willis. But a couple things. Who's been watching the tournament? Who's been watching the tournament? Raise your hand. Tell us what's been the most exciting or fun game that you've seen, or most memorable one so far. Jones.
Creighton versus Oregon.
Creighton versus Oregon was a very memorable game. Tough one. Tough one. Man, double overtime. Who else has got one? Rue, tell us about the most memorable game so far in the tournament.
He said,
Oh, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga blowing them out, just hammering Kansas. You know, your mom loved that one. You guys don't know, Megan was, I can't say star because I was never able to watch her play volleyball at Gonzaga, but she was a volleyball player at Gonzaga, right, Megan? She was, yeah. She's got, they saw their hands up, but okay. We're still waiting on Coach Willis to give us this last one. He might have turned off his earphones or music. Caleb, tell us your most memorable moment of the tournament so far.
FAU and Northwestern.
That was a good one.
Time.
Who were you? Did you have a favorite in that game? Were you pulling for either team?
Not really, but it was super fun to watch.
That was a really good one. Northwestern, their coach is a guy named Chris Collins. If you don't know Chris Collins, he went to Duke University, and then he was an assistant coach for Coach K. And when I was at Duke summer camp, you guys don't know, I coached at Duke during their summer camp. So I was coaching at Duke for 2 weeks, working with their middle school players. And Chris Collins, the head coach at Northwestern, was my league commissioner. So he was the one that we would report our scores to and things like that as a coach in that division of camp. My assistant coach that week at camp was a guy named John Shire. He was a player at the time. If you guys don't know who John Shire is, he's actually the head coach at Duke now. So Coach K retired and Coach John Shire took over for him. And that week at camp, he was still a player. This was 2008. And he was a player and he was my assistant coach for the week. So part of my coaching tree is the head coach at Duke. You know, like I say, I try not to brag, but I brag all the time. You guys have heard me talk about all my records and the 3 seconds of fame at Gonzaga when we beat the Zags, and the NCAA record for fewest turnovers in a college career. We're still waiting on Coach Willis, so I will tell you, I'll finish out the story of the summer of 08. It was epic, the epic summer of 08. I got to work for 3 weeks for Coach K at Duke, staying in the dorms at Duke. I was responsible for a group of kids, checking them in, making sure they're in their rooms. And then when I got done with the 3 weeks at Duke, I took a Greyhound and I went to Tennessee, to the University of Tennessee, where I spent 3 weeks working for Pat Summitt. So 3 weeks working. And if you guys don't know who Pat Summitt is, you're too young and you're not a basketball fan. She is the GOAT of women's college basketball coaching. And no discredit, I'm not slamming Gino or Tara at Stanford or whoever the coaches are now. She won over 1,000 basketball games. She changed the game. She won 8 national championships. 8. She was an 8-time national champion. And then I spent 2 weeks working for Bruce Pearl at Tennessee. I know Clayton and Alicia perked up. If you guys, when you watch the video, you'll see he's rocking an Auburn shirt. They lived down in Alabama for 7 years. But that was the epic summer of 08. Later that summer in the Olympics, Coach K won a gold medal. So the summer of 08, when I met Coach K for the first time, and I had a nice little 5-minute discussion with him where I said, hey, you know, I'm from Southern Oregon, near where Kyle Singler's from. Kyle Singler is was a current player there. Obviously, he knew who Kyle Singler was. He's playing for him. And he says, oh, yeah, I remember Grants Pass. When I'd fly down to Medford, I know that area a little bit. They played one of the games I went to see Kyle play. And then I said, yeah, my brother went to West Point. So if you guys don't know, my brother is a West Point. He's an Army officer. So my brother went to West Point. Coach K went to West Point. So I was able to make that connection. And then when I said, my brother is a major in the United States Army. He's major minor. I'm coach minor. Nice to meet you, Coach K. And the next time I saw him, hey, minor, how's major? U.S. Army officers, there's kind of a brotherhood. So just that little connection, and they're called oxymorons. If you guys don't know, that's like a big shrimp would be kind of an oxymoron. Major minor, you know, so that was the elevator pitch that I had planned out. So when I did meet Coach K, I didn't say, I think you're really good at coaching. I wanted to have something like planned, right? So that way, when that moment happened, I was prepared. So I planned ahead. So I planned this little pitch and it worked. It worked. Coach K said, hey, minor, how's major? And then later that summer, he wins a gold medal in the Olympics. But what that taught me was a lesson in presence. When I was talking to Coach K, he wasn't on his phone. Well, I wonder what LeBron's doing, or shoot, Kobe might have called, or he actually listened when I said I was a brother of a United States Army officer, major, minor. And that's just something, obviously I couldn't say anything bad about the guy because he's won 1,200 basketball games, which is if I got a head coaching job for the next 40 years and won 30 games every year, I still wouldn't have as many wins as Coach K. Think about that, 40 years of 30-win seasons, and you're still not going to have as many as Coach K. 40 years of 30-win seasons, and he still has more wins. But the fact that when I was speaking to him, and I'm a nobody, I know I felt like a big deal because I was a assistant college basketball coach. I was 25 years old, 24 at the time, turned 25 later that summer. But a nobody, that he actually took the time to listen when I was speaking to him, where there was another person that was the coach at my alma mater where I played in college that I met 4 times, as in he said, nice to meet you to me 4 times. And maybe that's a little bit of my ego that that I should be more rememberable than to have somebody say nice to meet you 4 times to me. but that's something that's a pet peeve or something that irritates me is big timers. You're never too important to be nice to other people. I'll say that again because I love that. You're never too important to be nice to other people. And that's something, Coach K, I can never say anything bad about the guy because he is a winner and he's won a lot, but he also swears a lot, which doesn't bother me. He's an Army guy, but he also took the time when I was talking to listen. So I respect that. I'm gonna turn this over to Coach Bolger. We're still waiting for Coach Willis to finish this off. I'm building a little excitement. This is like overtime. Coach Bolger, did you have something you wanted to say?
I got a 3-pointer.
Yeah, okay, then we're gonna scrap Willis because he's MIA. Maybe he's got his kids with him, so could be something.
Probably does.
I get it. But Coach Bolger, we're gonna flip it over to you. Give the 3-pointer. We're only gonna take the first person that we can see it on the screen, right? Anything else you want to add before they shoot the 3?
No, but this is very specific. So I know somebody's got it. And it's a pair of correctly folded, so not inside out, clean socks.
Correctly folded, clean socks.
Yep. Not worn socks. Can't be worn socks.
What do you think about Rue and Megan's?
Hold on, let's see. Back them up a little bit. Those are appropriate. Those match the description.
It's good.
There. Touchdown.
Finish in a close second place, but the Olsons pull it out with 14 points. Winner. I think Rue is going to get dinner tonight. On when we do get to the next tournament, he collects stuff that I've given him over the years because Rue always seems to have a knack for winning these silly competitions in trivia. He's got Peyton Pritchard autograph cards. He's gotten shirts. He's gotten hat. Rue. I don't want to give him all the credit because I think Megan probably gives him most of the answers in the background. But everybody's hands are down. Coach Willis's camera's still off. Coach Lunt, are you able to say hello? I know you've been listening in. It looks like, is that Indy? Looks like a little bit of a skippage in the video. There she is. Stop. I can hear her saying that. Stop, Dad. Oh, I have to wave. Coach Lunt, what's happening? Are you still in Spokane? Are you back now? Where are you guys at?
I'm still in Spokane.
Still in Spokane. How's the volleyball?
It's been a lot of fun. So for everyone out there, my 13-year-old plays volleyball for the 13 national team in Portland. So we're over here watching her play, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, we understand. We appreciate you joining in. We just had a lot of fun there.
I do.
Tell us more.
I do have something to share though that I think is important. This is both parent and athlete perspective. So my daughter yesterday did not play in one of her games, and obviously from an athlete perspective, she was upset that she did not play. One of the 3 phrases we talked about in our program. Number 1 equals R equals O. So event plus response equals outcome. BCD, which is no blaming, no complaining, no defensiveness. And then the last one, which is a huge staple, is DMGB, doesn't matter, get better. So my daughter, after the game, was upset that she hadn't played. And her first reaction was the BCD, which was blaming. And so we had to redirect her in, are we BCDing right now? Are we blaming? Are we complaining? Are we being defensive? And then we directed her into the whole mindset of E plus R equals O, which is, for her situation.
I think we lost him.
I can talk a little bit about E plus R equals O. Oh, he's back. Never mind. There he is.
Coach,
Can
we
you see me?
lost you.
Did I lose you?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
That works.
So here's an event. Here's an event. You didn't get to play. What's going to be your response? So we talked through that response, and what I tried to do is keep my coaching and my perspective out of it, and let her communicate, through that. And so we just came up with a plan of, it doesn't matter, get better. So we're not playing well right now, and that's okay. What can we do moving forward? But we can play better. We can focus on being a great teammate. So while she was not playing, she focused on being a great teammate, which was awesome to watch as a parent. Obviously, we traveled this far.
Skipped out again. E plus R equals O. How do we respond? How do we bounce back from a little bit of adversity? Go for it, Coach.
Sorry. So we traveled this far to watch her play, but the way she was a great teammate, and she supported her teammates, and she cheered after every point, and cheered after every sub, was something that, as a parent, you love to see. So that was something that was nice. And then we talked about, another thing that she can do is she can go talk to her and just ask, rather than say, why did I not play? Which is what coaches don't want to hear. It's, what do I need to do better at? What do I need to improve on? What do I need to show you? And she had a really good talk with her coach. That was really positive. And it led to her playing a little bit more in her second game. And then she played a lot in her third game because she actually showed up and she did really well in her second game. So I think those are things that are valuable lessons. And I know, obviously, I talk about them from a coaching perspective, but it's a lot different from a parent perspective. But we've got to keep those values in check on, what's important and how to teach youth how to respond in situations that necessarily get what they want. And so that was my highlight of my trip thus far. She's got one more game about to start here in about 5 minutes. But that's so important. So athletes, parents, always remember, an event happens. You've got a response. That response is going to equal an outcome. Never blame, never complain, never get defensive. Like, if you can eliminate those 3 things out of what you do, you're always going to put yourself in a position mentally and bounce back when you don't do those 3 things. And then always remember, it doesn't matter if you're great. It doesn't matter if you're average. It doesn't matter if you're bad. It doesn't matter, get better. So always having a continuous improvement mindset to improve. And I think that's important. I think that's important as parents too. Your son doesn't get what he wants. That's okay. That's part of growing. That's part of getting better. But you've got to coach them up on the right way to respond to things. So that's my words of wisdom. I had to live through it as a parent. Like I said, my daughter was crying, bawling, very upset, and it's hard as a parent. But you've also got to focus on the values that you're trying to teach them, and how are they going to grow? How are they going to deal with adversity? Because we all know that they're not always going to get what they want, and they're always going to have to go through adversity. So what are the tools you're giving our children on how to get better in those situations when they don't get what they want? And it's only going to help them when they get to 18, 19, 20, 21 and over, when they're not in our homes and they're not getting our daily guidance. So those are some things that I just wanted to share with you all today. Sorry, I haven't been as into the meeting. I've just been kind of running around, but I just wanted to lay out those nuggets for you all.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. I'm going to turn it over to Jacob. Jacob, do you want to touch a little bit, after playing 5 years for Coach Slunt, talk a little bit about how kind of that coaching, or just about E plus R equals O, or DMGB, or anything like that? Go ahead, take it over, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, a big one, like Coach touched on it a little bit, but the biggest one that we always say, no matter what the situation that we're in, if it's positive, it's negative, is doesn't matter, get better. We tried not to celebrate after any wins during the season, obviously, except for our last one on senior night, because we set we broke a drought of 24 years for Pacific men's basketball team going to the playoffs. But we don't celebrate after wins because we've been there and it doesn't matter and we're going to get better and it's on to the next one. And so that's something that really resonates with me is doesn't matter, get better isn't for when things are bad or things are hard, it's for all the time. Like you can have those moments and celebrate those little moments that you're doing something really good, but the key piece of what Coach is talking about is continuous improvement, and it's the will to always want to get better, always want to be better than the day before. And we won by 15 on senior night, but we wanted to win by 20. We wanted to win by 30, right? So it's always about continuously getting better and finding things to strive and to get better at. We talk about 1% better every day. And that has a lot to do with doesn't matter, get better. And that's the biggest one, I think, in our program is does not matter, get better. And that's something that you can take with you for the rest of your lives that I'm out of the Pacifics program, but I still live by that. I still live by doesn't matter, get better. And I think, and we talk about it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to celebrate victories. It's okay to be excited about something happening. But it's your ability to bounce out of that stagnant mindset and say, okay, now what can I do to get better? What can I do to improve? What can I do to achieve more? And that's really a life lesson. That's not even a basketball lesson. And Coach Lent is real good at giving you life lessons and disguising them as basketball lessons. So that's just something that comes with the program.
I love it. I love it. DMGB. How about I call on I'm gonna call on somebody here. I'm gonna call on you, Kellen. Kellen, if you could unmute. Kellen is a sophomore from Mountainside High School. Tell us what DMGB stands for.
Doesn't matter, get better.
Doesn't matter, get better. Give us a quick, what does that mean to you? How will you apply that maybe this spring, or just talk to me a little bit about how that applies to you?
Basically going off what Jacob said, even if you win a game during regular season or just like a small battle you win within yourself, pretty much not to celebrate too much, because you're always on to the next battle or next game or whatever you have coming up. So you gotta always be ready and just get better.
Yeah, great. Good job. Well done. You passed, Kellen. Good job. How about Aiden? Aiden Hammond. Unmute and E plus R. Go ahead and unmute. E plus R equals O. What does that stand for?
Event plus response equals outcome.
Nailed it. You got that right. Talk to me just a little bit about that. What does that mean, or how will that apply to you?
I think it means having a great response and a great attitude will you'll turn out good at the end. Like in a game, if you have a great attitude, it's gonna just at the end of the day it'll just be good. Can't think of the word, but a great it'll end good. It'll end good at the end.
Outcome, right? Yeah. The outcome is dependent. The event you have very little control over sometimes, right? I think you passed, Aiden. Good job. High five on that one. You got it right. How you respond is the outcome. It's not event equals outcome, right? How you respond, and you don't get what you want right away. Some people give up, some people quit, some people keep fighting, and we want you guys to be resilient. That's the R, resilient. So how do you bounce back? How do you handle adversity? You don't get what you want right away. Do you quit, or do you show up earlier? Do you stay later? you know, and that's the thing that I see as at Pacific. We have kids that show up, told they're on JV, and they quit. And we have kids that show up and, like Jacob, play JV for a year. He kept getting better, and then he was a two-time all-conference player. And so I've just seen that. And obviously, nobody wants to play JV. They're used to being the star high school varsity player. And they come in and they're at the bottom of the totem pole and they got to work. And some kids don't want to. And then they don't make it. And then they have regrets, or they go to a bigger school and party, and some kids can't handle it. And so I know everybody said they want to play in college until everybody says that until they realize what it takes. It's kind of, everybody says that they want to hunt until it's time to hunt. Everybody wants to be really good. And then they realize, wow, this is a commitment. My body hurts. I'm sore. I don't want to go to class. I'm away from my mom's cooking. I'm homesick. And it gets hard. Like, it's hard to be a college athlete. And some of you guys say you want to be a college athlete, but then, you know, I said it yesterday, but if your actions don't line up with your goals, change your goals or change your actions. And some of you guys say, oh, I want to play in college, but then you're getting a 3-point or you're getting below a 3-point. Like, if you have a 2-point anything, you need to change that. If you want to play in college, I mean, if you say you want to play in college, but you have a 2-point something, anything, it's not very realistic because it's hard. Yeah, you might be able to get into a junior college, you know, but that should be a priority. There's enough kids out there that have what you have that you can't be a risk off the floor. If you're a risk that you won't pass classes or you're going to get in trouble, coaches will move on to the next player. So that's just something. If you're wanting to play in college, how can you increase your chances? Give yourself the best chances, the best odds, more options. That's what you want to focus on. Jacob, go for it.
A lot of coaches will see your GPA or text your coach first and say, what's this guy like on the outside of hoops, before even looking at your film. Like, they won't even look at your film. They don't know who you are. They'll see your GPA and they'll be like, all right. You can send them an email. It'll say, I average 22 points a game, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and I got a 2.1 GPA. And they're gonna be like, yep, next player. We got 30 guys in the DMs talking about I average 25. That's whatever. You can average 25. You just like everybody else in college, because they're only recruiting guys who can score like that, right? So I'll never forget. I walked into my freshman year as a freshman in college. My roommate had a $65,000 scholarship to attend Pacific University. He went to school for free because he had good grades in high school and he started early. And I was paying. I got like $15K for my grades. And I had decent grades. I got $15K. He got $65,000 to play at Pacific University to go towards his school, just based on his grades, nothing else. So if y'all want to put your parents in a better situation, you want to put yourself in a better situation for the future, that's where you start, is in the classroom.
How, Jacob, you did much better. You did better when you got to college, right? You took it more serious.
And that's, I mean, that's, we talk about Pacific a lot, but that's just a great thing about our coaching staff and our program, is that we make sure that our guys are going to class, and we make sure that they can have stable grades. And honestly, like, you guys might go to high school and think, oh man, this is so boring. I don't want to go to class today. Like, this is no fun. I'm just going to call in sick. But when you get to college, it's a different world. You don't have to go to class every single day. You get to make your schedule. You get to choose which classes you take based on your interests. And so building those study habits early in high school really makes it a whole lot easier in college for you to be successful. Like, I had a rough transition. I wasn't the greatest student in high school, but I sort of started to figure it out, and I started to talk to the coaches about the resources that they could provide me to be a better a student. And I started to enjoy the things that I was doing in class because I got to choose my schedule. I had control over it. I had a day off during the week, and that's something that you don't get in high school. So it's just, you find so much joy in college in everything that you do, in every little experience that you have. in so many different ways. So it's just something, if you think college isn't for me, I don't really want to go to college, I don't really like school, like you got to give it a shot first. Like I considered not going to college, and if I didn't, I would have greatly regretted it. So that's something that you guys need to do, and you guys need to get on top of your grades right now, so you can put your parents and yourself in a better situation, so you don't have to have $30,000 debt when you leave college. Plus, 30,000 is on the low end nowadays.
Yeah, that's a great point. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but there's way more basketball or way less basketball scholarships than there are academics. So I was given over 100,000 to go to college, and none of it was because I was good at basketball. If I didn't help the team GPA, I wouldn't have been on the team. And we kind of chuckle, and it's like, well, I knew my role. My role, I wasn't as good at basketball as Pooh, right? Pooh could hoop. Pooh spelled backwards is hoop. But Pooh, if you guys don't know, you want to look up Pooh Jeter, played for the Sacramento Kings, played in the NBA, played until the G League until he was 39. So he's my age and he just retired. Pooh Jeter, Jeter. Looks like Jeter, pronounces it Jeter, but he was better at basketball. So I had to foul him, grab him, hold him, got physical. But my role, I never started the game. I never complained. I never moped. I played 2 years of Division I college basketball, played in 21 games. Yeah, against Gonzaga, I only played 3 seconds, but I played 13 minutes against the Oregon Ducks. That was the most minutes I ever played in the game, was 13. So that's not even half the game. Games were 40 minutes. Most minutes I ever got was my freshman year playing at the University of Oregon versus the Ducks. Kind of a dream come true. We kind of got down early. Coach put me in because he knew I was going to play hard. And I played 13 minutes and I didn't have a turnover. And you guys that were on the call know because I brag about that. But I didn't have a turnover. I got almost dunked on by Luke Jackson. Different Luke Jackson than's on our squad, but same name. Kind of leaned in. I was help side. I decided not. I don't know if Willis is there, but I made a business decision not to try to jump with them. I decided to just kind of, step back. But yeah, one of my friends called me. He's like, I saw you on Sports Center. I was like, thinking, I mean, I don't think I. He's like, yeah, you got dunked on, but you were on there. I saw you. But that was something I learned was my role. I gave a lot of high fives. I celebrated my teammates, and I loved what Coach said about his daughter and just helping her through that process. Because it is sometimes you don't get what you want right away. And that's a good lesson, and that's a hard one for parents. It's a hard one. When I see my daughter or son hurting, it's hard. But how can we help teach our kids to be emotional ninjas and be able to like maneuver when times are tough? But in no B, C, D, I believe was the other one. Does anybody have what in no? Does anybody have that down? What his acronym was for BCD? Does anybody have it? I mean, he said it quick, but I was quick enough to get it. Does anybody have it? No. Blaming? I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna. There's other words for blaming or complaining. Not. No blaming, no complaining, and no defensiveness. No whining, no moping, no pouting. No
And
bad
that's a
body
big one.
language.
Y'all need to write that down and live by that, because you don't get to do that in the real world. Like you don't get to do that at all. So that's
No
another.
moping.
No.
No pouting. And
I
I had
mean,
to teach Jacob that when you got the Pacific, Jacob, there was that
Yeah.
one time you came over to the JV practice and you were kind of with a little bit of bad body language and a little bit of a mopey attitude. And I think that was one of the 3 times I lost my composure.
Yeah, there.
Do you
Yeah,
remember that time, Jacob?
I do. It was my sophomore year. I came to practice. I was slacking. I didn't like the way that people were talking to me that day. I didn't like the way that the coaches were talking to me. I didn't like the drills we were doing. I didn't like something. Something was just not going my way. And usually I can get a hold of myself and center myself and talk about it after the fact. And I just keep my head down and say, yes, coach. But that day I wasn't having any of it, and I was kind of being sassy and not really trying, half-assed and stuff. And I pride myself on my ability to never half-ass anything. And I think that that was a huge moment for me ever since. Like, I always say yes, coach. I always keep my head up. I always control what I can control. And I got sent over to the JV practice side. This is when we were practicing JV and varsity same time. I got sent over there and I had my head down because I was mad at coach. Coach Lunt sent me over to the JV side because I was half-assing it. Like, I kind of deserved it, but I didn't want to say I deserved it. I didn't want to feel like I deserved it. And I went over there and they were doing some elbow finish drill, and I sort of walked through it, and Coach Miner lost his shit. Got cussed out right there. And that is what it is. Like, that's how it works. And in the real world, instead of getting cussed out, I'm getting fired from my job. And then my kids don't eat. And I get evicted. That's how it works in the real world. So
I love it. I love that I love that the way you handled it though too was impressive, because you kind of manned up afterwards and said, "Hey, sorry about that, coach." But I try not to let my blood pressure get too high. I'm a pretty chill, pretty cool, pretty laid back guy. But don't you? I threw some explicit words in there just to make sure that Jacob was listening, just to try to, like, I'm usually a pretty chill guy, but don't you ever effing bad body language doesn't whisper, it screams. Bad body language doesn't whisper, it screams. Bad body language is something that we can't have. You're up, you're down, good play, puff your chest out a little bit, but next play is the most important play. Good play or bad play, next play. And I've said it maybe in a meeting, but it's like breathing. Your last breath was important, but not as important as your next breath. Your last one was important, but your next one is more important. So next, I love those 3 acronyms, DM. And I think one of you guys put on your shirt, DMGB. Somebody wrote that because we had, if you guys don't know, we had every player design a t-shirt with a grit. Some of you guys still need to do that. And I'm not going to call anybody out because some of you guys are just learning. But if you say you want to play in college and you didn't get your shit done, like, I'm not going to babysit. Like, this is a program where I don't want to have to keep reminding people, did you get that done? Did you get that done? Some of it, and again, this is talking about actions and goals, right? Like, if your actions, or if you say you want to play in college, but then you're not turning your stuff in, if you're making me follow up with you and ask you to do things, then you're never going to play in college. Coach Lund doesn't mess around. I think he's off now, right? Yeah, so Coach Lund doesn't mess around. Like, if you're not, if you're getting in trouble in the dorms, if you're out drinking, he's going to be really pissed. But if you don't turn your stuff in, you're not going to be on the team, first off. Like, those kids get cut. And it's just, that's why I knew my role. Like I said, if I didn't help the team GPA, I wouldn't have been on the team. If I didn't win the sprints when I was in college, I wasn't going to be on the team. They're not going to keep around, because you know why? The other kids on the team probably would have made it so miserable for me because I was making them run again, or I was not making my free throws and making the whole team run, so I knew that if I didn't win the sprints, I wasn't going to be on the team. And just because you work hard doesn't mean you're going to get the start. Not every story ends like Rudy. Kids might not even know who Rudy is, but Rudy was a football player that walks on in Notre Dame and he gets the sack at the end of the game and they carry him off the field. Not every story ends like that. I never started a game, but I had a great experience because I bought into my role and I was good in my role. I gave a lot of high fives. I got to play when we were up or down or into the half when somebody had 3 fouls and they didn't want him to get his 4th foul. They'd put me in the game. But I loved my experience. I was a part of something. I was a part of a team. I was a part of a culture. And just, like I said, I'm not your stereotypical Division I basketball player, but I loved my opportunity. Like I said, I played when we beat New Mexico. I played when we beat Oregon State in double overtime. Never played in a game when we beat Oregon. But my team did beat Oregon the year before I got there, which is why they circled our game against them on the calendar and they whooped us. And that's why I got to play maybe a little bit more, was because coach was so pissed that our starters weren't doing playing very hard. But yeah, I think it's important for you guys to think about doing the little things and think about like a bank account. This is a lesson I got from Pat Summitt. Aiden, do you know who Pat Summitt is? Any Aiden know who Pat Summitt is? No? Okay. Do you know who that is?
It was a women's college coach that like had like one of the best records or something.
Good. You passed that test. You passed that test, Aiden. Because Pat Summitt is a name that if you're a basketball player, you need to know. Yeah, she was a women's basketball coach, but she was the greatest or is the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Yeah. But still, I did talk about her earlier. So Pat Summitt said life is like a bank account. Every time you do something well, you're making a deposit in that relationship bank with that person. Every time you screw up, you're making a withdrawal. So think about that. Every time you do something good, if you show up, if you turn in your work, if you do a great job on your assignment, if you go above and beyond, you're making deposits. You're putting deposits in that relationship bank. Every time you screw up or you don't do something right, you're making a withdrawal. Your goal should be to have a huge positive bank account in every relationship in your life. Pat Summitt, first day of camp, it's like the coaches meeting. She's talking about how you represent me. Pat Summitt's on your shirt. You represent me, and a guy walks in late. And he's one of these guys. Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah. And she kind of glares at him as he walks in. And then he sits down and she's talking, goes about 5 more minutes, and the guy's phone goes off. And I'll say it just because this is a direct quote from her. So if you're sensitive, you might want to earmuff it. Earmuff it means you just earmuff it and then you don't listen to this part. But she says, "You're fired. You're fucking fired. I don't know who you are, but you're done. Get out." And everybody sat up and was like, "Oh crap." Everybody checks their phone, makes sure it's on silent. But she was pissed. And she goes on to say, you know, like him being late, could have been a terrible car accident. Obviously, you want to plan to be ahead of schedule, but his phone going off, he had complete control over that. And the fact that he was so maybe disrespectful or just not paying attention to details, but he was not going to wear my name on his chest. Get him out of here. Fired him on the spot. This is the winningest woman until recently. Like, she won over 1,000 college basketball games, 8 national championships, and she just went off. And everybody sat up and paid attention. And that's where then she said, life's like a bank account. And that guy made 2 withdrawals, not just one, but he bounced a check twice because I had never met him. He didn't have any, you know, positive vibes with me or positive relationships with me. And so think about that when you're trying to get recruited. College coaches, make deposits with them. Show up early. Stay late. Ask Coach Wells, hey, is there anything that I can do to help? Is there anything you need? You know, make it like making those daily deposits every day, showing up, being on time, being early, staying late. Those things are making deposits. You're making deposits. And then when you do screw up or you forget something, that's why not everybody is equal. Just because somebody misses a practice at Pacific and somebody else, it's not the same. If you're a 5th-year senior and you've been at everything on time for 4 years and you have a car's flat tire, or this freshman that shows up late because he's lazy, like, you're not going to be treated the exact same. Some people deserve to be treated a little better. If everybody's treated the same, that's prejudice, or that's not right for the person that deserves to be treated better. And so think about that when you guys make decisions. College coaches, you got to be able to differentiate yourself. I know some of you guys, most of you guys want to play in college. Sending out emails isn't going to work. You got to do more. I still get 15 emails a day from kids that want to play in college. Yeah, like Luke's going to have an advantage because Luke, you're 6'8". Unmute and tell us how tall you are. 6'8"? 6'8", yeah. So Luke's 6'8", so coaches are going to take a look at that film probably a little bit harder than if you're a 6'1". That's just how it works. So you have to do more and make yourself differentiate yourself. I think Jacob was saying everybody gets 25, but you have the GPA. Think about Nike. I'd like to use this analogy. If you want to get a marketing job at Nike, you don't submit your resume with everybody else. You have to think outside the box. Like if you're a marketer for Nike and that's the most creative way that you can try to get your name in front of the marketing hiring director, maybe you put your resume on a pair of J's, like a high top J1s. Maybe it's a basketball with you got to think outside the box to get yourself noticed, right? Like if every kid sent in an email that says, "Dear coach, I want to play at your school," it's less likely that they're going to reply than if you take the time and you do your due diligence and you write about something personal. Like if you reach out, if you read their bio online and say, "Hey, Coach Miner, I saw you played at the University of Portland. What was it like when you played? I know they're in the West Coast Conference." You know, if you personalize your emails, there's a better chance you'll get a response. Also, maybe it's a handwritten card. I know I had a player write me a handwritten card. That put a big deposit in my bank account with me because it's rare. Not many people write thank you notes. So I'll tell you, if you want to impress an old person like me, write a handwritten note. I'm not saying you have to write it to me, but if you want to thank a teacher or a professor or somebody that gives you a gift, handwrite them a thank you note. And that's a little thing, doesn't take as much time as you probably play 2K or Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever video game you play, or Ticker Talk or Snapper Chat, whatever it is that you're doing on your phones, like write a handwritten thank you note. And we will have some assignments where you will have to do that this season. Some of you guys that have played before know that we do take some time and write handwritten thank you notes just because it's rare, but that's a way to differentiate yourself from everybody else. So maybe you write a college coach an email and you follow up with a handwritten letter. That's unique. You can't do it to 400 schools, so you have to specify and narrow your search down. There's some kids that say, "Well, I'll just play anywhere." Have you ever been to North Dakota in December? If you haven't, if you live in like, experience it. Maybe you're tougher than I am. I wouldn't want to live in Michigan, upstate Michigan, in basketball season. I wouldn't. So I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I decided where I wanted to go to college and was fortunate enough to be able to walk on and play Division I college basketball because I helped the team GPA, all that stuff I said, but I didn't decide my future just because of basketball. I wanted to go to the University of Portland. I loved the school. I loved the location. It was close to Portland, but not in Portland. Smaller school where I'd know my professors, Division I athletics, but I didn't want to go to a school just because I could play basketball. I chose Portland and then kind of put the full court press on the coaches. So it was definitely all right. I reached out to them. The assistant coach at one of the schools that was recruiting me, that offered me a scholarship, when I told him I wasn't going to be able to play there, he put me in touch with the assistant at Portland. That's how I got to play. And then I sent email. I actually went and visited and met them, and then they saw me play at the state tournament. I had a really good state tournament, and that's when they offered me a spot on the team. Anyways, registration, we need to get everybody to register if you're able to make it to the showcase next weekend. Quite a few of you already have. We will get, I've been working on the video. Awesome video, you guys. Great job on that. Appreciate everybody that sent those in. I'm combining them and trying to figure out how to do it. It's a little bit tricky. I got a new program on my laptop. It's called Microsoft Clipchamp. Clipchamp. It's supposed to be able to combine videos on a Dell, which is my work computer, but I don't know if I don't have enough memory. It's just awfully slow loading the videos, but it's going to be a long video. I might split it up into freshmen and sophomores and then juniors and seniors or something, just to try to keep it a little shorter, send them both out, or I'll actually probably put them in a Google Drive that you guys will get the access to so you can see it. But thank you for doing that. Thank you for the videos. T-shirt design contest. We had some awesome entries. I will be combining all of those and putting them in a Google folder. I will be putting them in a Google folder. So everybody needs to get Google Drive. Google Drive is something that we need to have because I'm going to put all those pictures in that Google Drive. It's already up actually. So I'm going to say that I have Ruse. Ruse was kind of half-assed. I got Cody's, Daniel's, Trent's, Noah's, Clayton's, Aiden, Hammond's, Coda, Caleb, Jacob, Helen, Javier, and Asher. Is there anybody that thinks they've submitted it that's on the call that I didn't mention right there? Corbin, did I not say your name? I did get yours. So Corbin, you are good because I did get it. I just didn't get it loaded in the Google Drive yet. So thank you. If you haven't done it, get it done. And I know this is unique. We've talked about this. Not every program does stuff like this, but it is part of it. It's important. It's important to me. It's important for you guys to get to know each other. So I will put all that in a folder and get it so that way you guys can see it. There is some awesome, really cool designs. We probably will turn one of them into an actual t-shirt because we can do that. We have had some cool ones before. I know I showed you guys the one yesterday. I think yesterday's had pink. Today's we have the baby blue. We've also had this one, which is pretty cool. Disappeared. I don't know why it disappears. But this is like a kind of a candy cane look, I would say. The pinstripes. This one's tough to find. This one, yeah, it has the pink letters, but also has the collar that has and the sleeves have this. Pretty cool. So I will get that out to you guys. I'm just gonna combine and actually, you know what I might do? I might just give all of us access to the Google Drive that has all the Google videos, or not Google videos, all of your guys' videos in it. That way you guys can look through them. That won't be combined, but everybody in the videos does a good job introducing themselves and answering the questions. So I think that's probably what I will do is I'll just give everybody, every player should have filled out that questionnaire that has your name and email. I think everybody, Luke might need to do that still, but I think everybody else has. So on that email, I will add everybody to the Google Drive. So you can open up those videos on, you should be able to do it on your iPhone. I don't know about Androids, if you have your main ones in Android, but you should be able to pull them up on an iPhone. And then I'll have another folder which will have the t-shirt designs. And there is some really cool ones. I'll show you. Jacob Jones was a favorite of mine, kind of a Hawaii. Let's see. You can see that kind of got that Hawaiian look. That good job, Jacob. Kellen's was good. He worked all the words in there. Javier's was pretty good too, if you can see that. He's a computer. There's that one. Some people drew it, which was okay. This one, I said you could draw it. That one has like a net around the sleeves. That one's colorful, which was kind of cool. Looks like that one. And I will call out and show everybody just so everyone's like, man, Coach Miner's harsh. Rue's probably wasn't that half-assed. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna call you out, Rue. Rue played last year. I know Rue pretty well, so I'm not picking on him. I'm just picking on him. At least you got it in, Rue. It was late, and it was not your best effort, but I put your name on it. But decent effort. So thanks, guys, for joining today. It is 3:31. We're gonna wrap this up. It's kind of like an episode of Survivor. People are having to drop off and not make it all the way through the call. So if you're still here, you guys won. You won, Rue. Even though you didn't get the best t-shirt design, you did win Scavenger Hunt competition. So I will have something for you. I have something for the Fitzgeralds also because you guys won yesterday. And everybody will be getting a shirt, players will, and then I will put in an order for parents. So this is the first call. If you guys want a shirt, this year's, I'll show you what this year's look like. They are more, it's a pretty cool look, I think. Well, I am the one that designed them with some help from my friends. Some of you guys got to weigh in on t-shirt design. So let's see. Oh, I guess I don't have to stand up. So this is what it kind of looks like. It's kind of like a baseball almost. It doesn't have buttons, but it looks kind of like there might be buttons in there. And then the ball is the grit ball like I had in the background yesterday. So I might do something different for parents. I haven't completely decided yet, but I should get that order in probably this next week. But these are the ones that we've kind of had, and this one I think says bring the juice also. So maybe I'll design, or I'll look at the designs that we came up with, have a vote who thinks it's the best, and then that might be a player model special edition. And then parents, if you guys have ideas, feel free to email me or text me if you're like, that's too flashy, or if you guys have an idea for shirts. You guys do not have to like design them like the players did, but if you guys have something that you're like, this would be cool, or something, I can get them custom design colors, and it's all sublimated, which is nice. It's not screen printed, so we can do multiple crazy designs or whatever. But so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send out, everybody will get an email. Players will share that with your parents. And just so everybody knows that's on here, I am communicating through the group chat with the players. So every player is in a group chat. So that's where I've been sending them messages saying, hey, reminder, parents are invited to the call today. Reminder, this is due. So if I seem like I'm harsh or getting on Luke, it's because he hasn't been as engaged as I hope he will be. But yeah, we want to make sure that we're all bringing in our best every day, because one yesterday doesn't matter. Get better. No blaming, complaining, or defensiveness. No blaming, complaining, or defensiveness. No moping, no pouting, no complaining. All right, that's all I have. So I'm going to stop the recording now.